exciting day on the anniversary of the Egyptian Revolution. It's my pleasure not only to welcome you, but to introduce our host, Ahmed Fatouh. For those of you who don't know him, Ahmed is not only an exceptional investor, but also a very committed and dedicated Egyptian American who is working very hard on all fronts for the success of the future of Egypt.
Thank you, Mona. Good afternoon. It was January 25th, today, and the protests in Tahrir Square began, which would culminate in the toppling of Hosni Mubarak's regime in Egypt. The rising price of food and the inflation that was being experienced was really compounding the failure of these governments to provide economic opportunity. And at the end of the day, when people couldn't put food on the table, we had reached a tipping point. I think the revolution in Egypt and the entire Arab Spring phenomenon goes far beyond that. And that was how the idea behind the Tahrir Square Foundation began. We are a non-profit organization whose mission it is to mobilize the resources, the skills, and the relationships of the diaspora to build a better Egypt. So we'll talk a little bit today less about whether the revolution was good or bad, and more about why the revolution was inevitable. Nassim Taleb is the distinguished professor of risk engineering at NYU. I have to admit that Nassim was one of the first to encourage me to get on that plane to Egypt, so I have to thank him for saving my business and then jeopardizing my life. So as I said, today is going to be less about is the revolution good or bad for Egypt. I think we'll leave that to history to decide. And it's more about why the revolution was inevitable. One of the other black swans of the Egyptian political experience over the past year is how surprised people were by the turnout of the Islamists. So I guess this is one of the questions. I mean, there are those who are trying to talk about how do we control or how do we influence what's happening, and what does this sudden rise of political Islam or sudden injection of political Islam into the actual discourse in a formal government do?
My idea is that if you try by force to control a system from above, you're never going to be powerful enough to contain it. Never. No government, no foreign government, not United States, nobody can control something from above. Things got to be manipulated, controlled, befriended with below, not above. Okay? You've had a long period of trying to control Egypt from above, and now you're paying the price. That's my point. You're paying the price, and trying more control from above is going to make it worse.